Hello, and welcome to the second part of my images. How do I import images in my system? I would like to import uh, probably some of my students, some of my friends, I don't know, a little bit like this. So, you know that we currently offer you a library here. If you look at photo of characters, we have a few people here, and I can go through my library and I can import any of my characters. Okay, so this is my good friend OJ, and he is now inside one of my scenes here, right? I want to have a more realistic scene, and I can even go to my to the bottom of my library. Maybe I want to put him right here. Yeah, why not? Okay, so that's a pretty cool looking scene. And how do I do that? Because if I go to my images and if I import a picture that I edited, well, I have this background here, and this is not really working, right? I want it to look transparent. So, um, how do I do that? Well, it's very simple. It will require that you have a tool like either Photoshop or one of the many free online photo editing software, allowing you to bring in a photograph and get rid of the background. Um, let's have a quick look at how I do that. Okay, so I'm going to open um, a little PDF I made for this tutorial here. So one thing I want to say at the beginning, so this is a photo of OJ, right? He is in my office here. And the first thing you notice is that the picture is not very contrasted. So I recommend that you use a flash on your camera. Okay, this will give you a nice contrast. Basically, you want your photograph to look like this. Here, I had to retouch my photograph. I had to enhance the luminosity um, for it to look nice and bright. Otherwise, it's just simply not going to look good. Okay, if your picture is not looking good at the beginning, it's going to be tough to salvage that picture. Now, any photo editing software offers you something called a lasso tool. Okay, so you open whatever software you have, and you're going to click on what is called the lasso. The lasso is a tool allowing you to click around a picture and to get rid of the background. Basically, this is what we're talking about. You notice here that what I did is I clicked many times around his arm here, and gradually I removed all the information. Okay, so I've been doing this for a long time. I do this, it takes me about 10 minutes per picture. One thing I recommend if you use a lasso tool, if your lasso tool has settings to allow you to make a soft cut. You don't want your cut to be too hard. Okay, so I set the parameters of my lasso tool on 1 point. Okay, this will allow you to have a nice smooth cut around your character. Eventually, it will look like this. You notice that now I got rid of all the information, all the background. And what is the alternative of doing this manually? Because, you know, not everybody has 10 minutes for each picture that he or she wants to edit. Um, Another alternative is to place your characters against what we call a green screen. Okay, so if you have access to a green screen, please use it, and your photo editing software will allow you to, by one click of a button, get rid of all the color green. Some green screens are actually not green, some of them come in blue. So basically, it will allow you to get rid of all the information by the click of a button. Honestly, the result is never really great. It often gives you a very jagged result. Okay, so, and you're going to see why I don't really like to use a green screen myself. It's because the next step is I like to add a stroke. Most photo editing software will allow you to add a stroke around your picture. This is what I do for my images. Check this out. Let me go back to uh, right this scene. Let me go to characters, and you notice that my people here, like OJ for instance, you notice that they have what appears to be a black stroke around them. Why do I do that? I do this so that the characters stick out more, right? This way there's more contrast between the person and the background. Okay, so let's go back to my little PDF here. So I like to add a little black stroke in the back. Using Photoshop, I set the parameters of my black stroke at 6 points. That's in case you are a Photoshop user. After I add a stroke, the next step is I crop my picture. I don't need all this extra info at the top and the bottom, right? So I crop my picture and I get rid of as much as I can. All right? So let me make this smaller so you have a better view. Okay. After I get rid of what I don't need at the bottom and the top, I actually go to my photo size, what we call the canvas size. If you need to import a photograph in the QTALK Story Maker, your photograph needs to be in a square. Okay, it needs to be in a perfect square. Well, it doesn't need to be in a perfect square, but at least as much as a square as you can. Otherwise, your photograph will show to be distorted. It will be show too thin, too flat. Okay, it's not going to work. So in your photo editing tool, make sure you can change your photo as a square. Next is you want to save your photograph as what we call a PNG. It's very simple. Every photo editing tool allows you to save something as a PNG. If you use Photoshop, you need to go to File and you need to go to Save for the Web. Alt Shift Control S. I personally always remember my shortcuts, okay? So, because I edit so many photographs each week. So, you're going to need to save your photograph as a PNG. As you see, as you click on Alt Shift Control S, it will ask you if you want your photograph to remain transparent. And of course, you're going to say, yes, I want my photograph to be transparent. By the way, something fun here. It looks like I went all the way down. So, by the way, something fun. You notice that OJ is standing this way. And you know what? I'm going to also make another copy of OJ's photograph. I'm going to rotate this picture. So I'm going to save it for the web the way it is. He looks like he's jumping here or reaching for the stars. And now I have this photograph and it occurred to me, wait a minute, why don't I make him fly? So I rotate my picture. You can do this manually. And eventually my picture looks like this. Pretty cool. And I'm going to show you why I did that. And I save this as an other PNG, right? I go back again to File and I save for the web. Now I happen to have two pictures of OJ, one jumping and one where he seems to be leaning horizontally. And here is the result. So I'm going to go to my images. I successfully edited my pictures. Okay. I'm going to make this full screen. Click on my images. I'm going to click on upload my images. Very simple. And I think I saved this on, there you go. So I'm going to click on jumps. Okay. First I'm going to click on jumps and I'm going to click on open. There you go. And here is OJ. He is now jumping. So you remember how before that he was standing against the background. Okay. So, and now let me make him much bigger. Actually, you know what? The new version of QTALK Story Maker shows your pictures to be much bigger. Okay, so you're not going to have to enhance them the way I do here. You're going to, okay, you will not need to do that. There you go. Let me do this manually. Okay, so this is OJ now. This is what he looks like. So this is pretty neat, right? And you remember that I also saved a version of him. I rotated his picture. So I'm going to upload this picture here. Also, I'm going to click on upload my images. And I'm going to click on jumps. And I'm going to click on open. There you go. And here is, oh, did I click on jump? No, I meant fly. So let's do that again. Sorry. Upload my images, and I don't want him to jump, I want him to fly this time. Sorry folks, here we go. And now OJ is flying, and here he is flying in the sky. So here he is, right? Let's try to make this picture bigger because that is too small. That's too darn small, right? So yeah, let's make it bigger. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you something that you are going to encounter with QTALK Story Maker, or QSM as I like to call it. You're going to say, well, listen, I imported a picture here, but I'm not able to move it. It doesn't want, I can go from right to left and I can't, move it up or down. Okay, so this is a little bug that we're fixing, but there's a quick fix to remedy to this right now. What it is that your images are being constrained by the invisible transparent square around it. Let me get rid of this transparent square by clicking on crop. You remember we looked at crop before. I'm going to click on crop and I'm going to get rid. I only want to keep OJ here, right? So I'm going to click here. Bingo. And do you see those little dots here? So I'm pretty satisfied with that. Okay. And let me make this smaller so I can see my buttons. Great. All right. I'm going to click on crop. Ooh, it looks like my screen is going too far here. Here, let me move my screen a little bit. There you go. And I'm going to click on save. All right, wonderful. Now, I'm done now. And if I am not crazy here, I should be able to find another copy of this photograph. Let me get rid of all my extra images here. I don't need this. I click on this button to make them disappear. And it looks like I didn't save it properly. Okay, but anyway, so let me do that again. Sorry. Okay, sometimes there's a little bit of a glitch here and there. Let me click on, oh, here it is. Here it is. It just finally showed up, by the way, folks. I apologize. The picture actually took a few seconds to show up. That's probably because it's a fairly large picture. So what I'm trying to say here, folks, is that if you are encountering the issue of your image not being able to go up or down, that's because there is an invisible square. You saw how I easily cropped it and removed that invisible square, and then it automatically saved it into my library again. Okay, so this is how you do it. So I hope this was useful. This was about importing your pictures, your own characters in your own library. And by the way, play around with the backgrounds and notice that it's a lot of fun to contrast cartoon looking backgrounds with actual photographs. You can try so many combinations. You can also do it in a simple white background. I actually like simple white background along with photographs of characters because they really make your people, your characters, show very clearly. Right here, why don't we put Natalie here? And you can see that Natalie is now showing really well. It's really neat. this white background. Okay. By the way, folks, when you're gonna click on some of our pictures, such as Natalie or Alex or OJ, and we are in the process of adding many other adult characters here, photographs, you may notice that they're a little slow to upload. This is because those photographs have a very high resolution. Okay, these are professionally taken photographs and they have a very high resolution. Sometimes they take a little longer to appear. Okay, so have fun. I hope this was useful. Explore, try things out, click on buttons. By the way, very important. Last but not least, if you cannot find a picture, if you don't have the time to take a photograph, you know what? We are offering you a service where you see this button here that says request image. Okay, let's imagine that you're already stuck. You cannot find the picture you want or an icon. Click on request image and type your message here, right? So, hello QTALK. Let's say, why don't you be polite? Say, hello QTALK team. Can I have a picture of a young person flying in the sky? Why not? Okay, and then you click on send. Bingo. This is going to reach our team. We're going to answer you within minutes or within hours, and you're going to be sent this picture. If this picture is something we already have in our library, we're going to add it in our library. We have a library of thousands and thousands of images, but we have much more in our server here at the main office. So if it's a picture we have, we're going to put in the library. If it's a picture that does not really necessarily match our library, we're going to send it to you personally. Okay, I hope this was useful. This is Maurice, and I'm going to meet you next for how to add audios to my pictures. We made that process so easy and fun. Meet me in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.